What's good, guys? It's your boy Makan. Today we hold up. Let me actually make that list. We gonna see why they picked Cell. They picked Frieza over Cell in Dragon Ball Super. Let's get to
Will
it.
have been a better replacement for Frieza in the Tournament of Power? Well, 'tis the season for villains coming back in Dragon Ball Super, and since they're both evil, let's discuss whether or not Cell would have been a better villain replacement than Frieza. And I'm gonna do this by analyzing multiple categories that.
Okay, so my thoughts, honestly, before the video begin, I like Cell better as a villain, but I don't know. It just be weird putting him in Dragon Ball Super. It would be weird. I think Frieza was a good fit.
Actually affect the entire consideration for both villains. So without wasting any more time, let's get straight into this video. So, the first category we should talk about is power, and this is the easiest one to debate. Frieza over Cell. Now, the fact of the matter is that from what we can assume and from what we haven't seen, Cell hasn't gotten any stronger unless he can meditate in hell the way Frieza has. So with that said, it just simply makes sense to give Frieza the edge over Cell because in terms of power, he can make a bigger impact against the stronger.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Power? You know, Cell has sand cells. He could easily train. And since he has sand cells, he can easily fight. And the more he fights, he gets stronger. So power, that's kind of a bad reason to put Frieza over Cell then. Cell would be way stronger than
Villains. So I'd have to give that to Frieza. So let's talk about logic. Now, what I mean by logic in this specifically is what's a more logical move to make your team safer and more prepared for the Tournament of Power. And I would go with Cell on this issue because although Cell is an evil villain, his ambitions are more about fighting and he would have a lot less devious plans to manipulate people. Frieza was talking about how he wanted to manipulate.
Now logic, I could see why this would be Frieza because Cell just likes to fight the strong people. Frieza trying to kill his own team, kill the enemies. Frieza a nut. That what keeps it interesting. Like, is Frieza gonna screw him over? You know, with Cell, you know he ain't screwing him over.
The gods, he talked about how he wanted to pretty much regrow his empire and come back to life, whereas Cell is a guy who really is evil because he wants to test his powers and fight stronger guys. He's kind of like an evil Goku in a way.
Ooh,
so because of that, Cell's lack of ambitions compared to Frieza would make him a safer pick than Frieza. And since Cell is weaker than Frieza, if Cell ever acted up again, you can kill him way easier than you can re-kill Frieza. And also, when you want to add more logic to the mix, Cell has much more techniques which would give him much more variety in fighting situations, even though Frieza is stronger than him, and that would make Cell a lot more tournament friendly, whereas Frieza's moves are a lot more deadly, and it would be harder for Frieza to fight in a tournament setting. And if you want to go even further with the variety of move techniques, Cell has a lot of Frieza's techniques, so really having Cell would give you all of Frieza's moves or most of Frieza's moves along with more. The next category we have is originality. Now, this one is kind of tricky because these villains have both come back in the series before, but Cell has never really had a massive comeback in the show, besides a few filler episodes in Dragon Ball Z and when Goku visited Cell in Hell in Dragon Ball GT. And when you look at Frieza, Frieza has had three major storyline comebacks, with Mecha Frieza returning, with Frieza returning in Resurrection of F, and Frieza now in the Tournament of Power. So that pretty much means that Frieza has had three main storyline returns, plus all of the movies and specials and GT, to add even more returns to Frieza coming back, versus Cell, who's never really had a major comeback in the show itself, so Cell would be closer to an original idea than Frieza. Furthermore, the next category we have is marketing, and when you look at Dragon Ball, you have to factor in the business reasons as to what's a better choice. And to tell you the truth, this is a no-brainer. Frieza is astronomically more popular and more iconic than Cell in the Dragon Ball series, and when you also consider that his golden form has already been documented into the series itself and has sold so many toys to people in the world, Frieza would be a much easier marketing choice for the Tournament of Power than would be Cell. And because Cell is a new character that you would be bringing back into the show for the Tournament of Power, you run the risk of trying something new that might not work out. Whereas Frieza, you kind of already know it's going to succeed because of his sheer popularity alone. So marketing wise, it makes sense to pick Frieza over
I
Cell.
understand that.
And last but not least, guys, for the biggest reason of all, the plot.
Yeah, Frieza easily for the story because he has connections. Like he knows basically everyone on Planet Vegeta. He knows Beerus, and yeah, that's the heroes are Saiyans, so like it easily connects.
Being unbiased, Frieza simply has more connections to the characters in the Dragon Ball series.
I agree.
He killed Piccolo, Vegeta, and Krillin, plus the androids before the timeline reversal. And if you consider the fact that you have multiple elements like the Vegeta Frieza hate, the Krillin Frieza fear, the Piccolo Frieza anger, the Goku Frieza rivalry, and the Gohan Frieza childhood memories, he has been in the show numerous amounts of time to add more to the Frieza versus Dragon Ball debate, and because of his sadistic personality, he would be more interesting to see fighting in a tournament setting, even though it would be less logical, whereas Cell has already been in a tournament setting, so it's kind of more suited and not really going out of the norm in terms of that point. So if you were to pick a villain, even though picking a villain is a silly idea, Frieza would create a lot more friction and would be much better for the Dragon Ball Super plot. However, if there is one story element that I think would be really cool with Cell, it would be three particular characters. It would be awesome to see Cell fighting in the Tournament of Power alongside Android 17 and 18.
Yeah, because that would be weird because he literally sucked them up. Not like that, but that would be weird.
Considering that he literally, and I'm saying this literally, and I know I use the word literally a lot, he literally sucked these two characters up and put them in his own body. And I know somebody's gonna make a sexual joke about that, but he did literally suck these characters up. And in addition to this, it would also be cool to see Gohan once again going at it with Cell and kind of shifting Gohan more into a more important role in the Tournament of Power, as he is the captain, and it would be cool to see a captain fighting on the same team with a villain that he killed before that he hates. So that would be cool to see Cell interacting with those three characters, but two androids and Gohan is not the same as the numerous times that Frieza has fought our heroes, so a Frieza return wouldn't be as original of an idea, but its story makes much more sense because of the characters involved. So, out of these five impactful categories, I would have to say Frieza makes much more sense as he dominates some of the more important categories when it comes to conceiving a new plot for the Dragon Ball series. So, overall, guys, I have to make this crystal clear. Cell is my favorite villain in the history of Dragon Ball, and if you don't believe me, I've said this numerous times in videos throughout my channel's history, and I even did a villain discussion with Black and Fist months ago where I was talking about why I felt Cell was a better villain than Frieza, and he was talking about why he felt Frieza was a better villain than Cell. I personally find Cell a more interesting concept for a villain, but for an actual tournament with stakes on the line and to actually make something much more tense, I'm being completely unbiased in saying that Frieza would be a better choice. And if you disagree with me, by all means say why. I look forward to hearing all of your other categories or reasons as to why you think Frieza would be a better choice than Cell, or why you think Cell would be a better choice than Frieza. So with everything else said, please remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. And remember, as I always say, to have a great day, guys.
Alright, that's it for this video. Stay prayer for all positive at all times. I'm out.